It was my privilege that for my first interview for Faygoluvers, I got to interview Australia's favorite alien producer, Bloodstepp. Here is his quick bio if you have not heard of him. Bloodstepp is an Australian electronic hip-hop producing alien, coming from southwest Sydney with the fusion of dubstep, trap, electronica, rap, hip-hop, horrorcore, metal and many more. He has worked with legends in the underground scene and won 2013 Underground Album of the Year. He is also a Ghetto Platinum selling artist, having sold 1,000 or more copies. First off, I would like to say thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to answer these questions for us. With this being said, let's start the interview, shall we? PRJ, can you tell the people that do not know who you are, what you do, and school them on a brief history about yourself? Bloodstepp, I want to start by saying a huge thanks to PRJ and the whole FLH crew. You are to us underground artists what the radio is to the mainstream, our survival. My character is that of an alien that had received radio transmissions from Earth accidentally. Unfortunately, the transmissions were mainstream music. I'm here to school the world with real music to save the human race. In reality, I'm a fat nerdy Australian dude that makes shitty beats on a PC. If I had to categorize my style, I would call it electronic wicked shit. PRJ, you recently released your latest album, Skinwalker Ranch. Can you tell us how the album came about, and how long you worked on it? Bloodstepp, I am fascinated with the actual Skinwalker Ranch in Utah. I have read books on it and researched as much as possible. The only thing left now is to go there. Don't be fooled by the half-shitty movie released about it. This is a real place with real events. Skinwalker Ranch would be my Disneyland. The release was prolonged due to working with so many other artists on it, so about 6 months all up is what it took me. PRJ, with that being said, is it true that the final mixing was done by Psychopathic Records' very own DJ Clay? If so, how did that happen, and why did you choose him? Bloodstepp, actually Clay only mixed a couple of tracks on this album. The rest was done by me and another dude. I am man enough to admit that I am still learning the mixing trade, and if I want my music to sound its best, I get help. I first met Clay at GOTJ 2010. A couple years later I sent him some beats to check out. He said he loved them and that I had a different sound to everyone else in the scene, so it just went from there. He featured on and engineered some stuff on my previous album Grand Theft UFO as well. I'm not sure if I am supposed to say, but he has asked me to join forces with him for a beat group we call Beat God. We will be selling beats under that banner. You recently allowed us to premiere the track, Skinwalker Ranch, from your album. The song featured Killa C and Rizakal. PRJ, how did you manage to have Killa C be a guest artist? Hell, how did you find him? Everyone thought he disappeared years ago and quit the rapping. Bloodstepp, I always check other artists' pages to see what's happening, and I was lucky enough to catch him at the right time, as he is now making a comeback. He wasn't keen on doing murder shit anymore, but luckily I was after a more specific subject matter, that being Skinwalker Ranch, so he took my info and notes and fucking schooled it. PRJ, on a recent episode of The Juggalo Show, Kevin Gill debuted the track that you all collaborated on. This track is really different from the other stuff that you've released. It's more of a spoken word song. If you haven't heard the track yet, check it out now below. PRJ, can you inform everyone about how the idea of this track came about? Bloodstepp, I had a beat I had been fucking with that I learned on a YouTube tutorial. Yes, I still use YouTube for advice, lol. I thought it sounded bland on its own but was too good not to use, if that makes sense. I had just gotten back into wrestling after years, and an idea popped into my head of getting someone to commentate a wrestling match over the top of the beat with Bloodstepp, being the wrestler fighting for the Underground World Championship. PRJ. Why did you end up reaching out to KG about this collaboration? Bloodstepp, who else better to ask than the voice of JCW? KG loved the idea and went to work. It turned out amazing. He is such a cool dude too. He just gave me back a bunch of audio and I pieced it together to make it sound like a running match. It turned out exactly how I envisioned it, so I'm happy with the results. PRJ, how did KG end up debuting the track on the Juggalo show? What did the other CO hosts of the Juggalo show, Jumpsteady and Rude Boy, think about it? On the previous show, Jumpsteady wondered how KG was featured on an album, as he doesn't rap, so we had to show him both. Rude Boy and Jumpsteady loved it. Rude Boy said he could picture the entire song in his head, and that is exactly what I was aiming for. Bloodstepp, the best part was that Jumpsteady had brought in 2 of my albums that he had kept from when I had met him back in 2013 on the ICP Australian tour. He loved my Alien Abduction music Custom Charm too. I was blown away he actually kept them, especially when he said he only keeps shit that he loves. That shit gave me a hard on. I mean, he is a psychopathic records don. He offered to hook up on the next Juggalo show via Skype, so I am in the process of working that out. PRJ, okay, now let's continue about your new album. A number of Faygoluvers forum users are guest artists on Skinwalker Ranch. Why did you decide to include them? Do you plan to work with any of them in the future? Bloodstepp, there is so much untapped talent going around, and once I heard the quality of our own FLH forum members on the post-mortem boredom release, I knew I had to work with these dudes again. Big shout out to Sick SE7EN, Lucy M. Fair, DJ Scrub, Sean Law, Scruffy Pig, Novocaine, and Sketches. You guys are all beasts. Thanks for putting it down for me. We will definitely be working together again in the future if you are down. PRJ, is there anything else you would like to let us know about Skinwalker Ranch? Bloodstepp, just check it out on my site www.bloodstepp.com, and if you dig it, grab a copy. It's my best work to date. It's a mix of all of my other releases in one. PRJ. Alright, moving on. What are the chances we see future collaborations with Insane Clown Posse, Twisted, and Tech N9NE? Bloodstepp. My dream is to collab with all of the above. Imagine a Bloodstepp beat with Tech/ICP or Twisted spitting over it. I have come close a couple of times to making it happen, but I need everything to fall into place. It will happen eventually, I promise. PRJ, outside of ICP, Twisted, and Tech N9NE, what artists are you wanting to work with? Bloodstepp, Esham, the most underrated artist of all time, Grant Rice Technician's old hype man, and a huge talent, J-Man of Mushroom Head, my favorite voice in metal, Aphex Twin, the god of electronica, just to name a few. PRJ, have you ever thought about setting up a track where 2 rappers that dislike each other are on the same song? Are you even allowed to do that? Bloodstepp. I think it has already happened actually with my Underground All-Stars track. I guess it's hard to avoid when there are 18 rappers on the one track. LOL. You can make your own guess at who doesn't like who on that track, haha. PRJ, have you ever thought about producing songs for other artists' albums? If so, how would an artist go about contacting you? Bloodstepp, to be honest, I never really wanted to make beats for other artists, as I have always been a bit paranoid that my music isn't good enough to add to another artist's craft. But when Clay asked me to join his beat crew, I had to take up the offer. You will have to go through Clay to get them though, as we don't make them individually, we make them as Beat God. PRJ, are you open to artists using your tracks with permission for their songs? Bloodstepp, do what you want with my shit. Steal it, rip it, I really don't care too much. I have been thinking about releasing an album of all my instrumentals from my previous albums and making them royalty free so anyone can spit on my beats and release them. In the end, this is just a hobby for me, and if someone wanted to use my shit for something, I'm honored. PRJ, since we are on the topic on producing, what hardware and software do you use to make beats? Would you suggest an up-and-coming producers using them? Bloodstepp. Okay, here are some secrets, lol. All I use is good OLFL Studio for composition with some custom plugins. I got a dude to make for me. My go-to generic plugin to use is NI Massive. For mixing, you can't go past Pro Tools, and mastering is done by someone else as I suck at it. LOL. All this is done on a high-end gaming PC with a pair of shitty studio monitors and headphones. That's it. FL Studio gets the bone, but it can be powerful if you know what you are doing. It's the little DAW that can haha. PRJ, I've heard rumors of Mad Child filming a video with you when he tours Australia, is that true? Is this his way of making up for not doing the Transformer video? Bloodstepp, yeah, he hit me up after I decided to use live footage for our Transform track, as it was taking a while to get the original footage shot. He loved what I had done with it, so we decided to hook up when he is in Australia at the end of the year to shoot a video for our new track Pitbull off my new album, Skinwalker Ranch. PRJ, could you inform us about some of your future projects that you may have in the works? Bloodstepp, I have already started working on my next project. It is a full EDM project with my mates Androponics from USA and Cat's Eyes from Australia under the name Conductrix. It's different from my usual shit but does take me back to the good OL rave days. It bangs. PRJ, what will it take for you to find yourself in America? Whether for a show, appearance, at the gathering, as an attendee or performer. Bloodstepp, I did fly over in 2010 for the gathering, but as an artist all I need is to be officially asked to play, and I'm there. It's too expensive to go and just play in the parking lot or campground.